The dim light of a cold morning slowly crept into Anna's kitchen, while the sirens outside lasted longer than ever before. She was afraid to approach the window. With every glance, she felt her world shattering a little more under the weight of fear and tension. For her, the war had first begun with the news on the radio. Then, one by one, the neighbors started to disappear, and after that came silence, a heavy, suffocating silence. When her husband was sent to the front, he had said, "I'll be back soon, for you." Anna repeated those words in her mind for days, for weeks. But as time passed, hope slowly gave way to an uncertain fear. Everything inside the house now felt incomplete. The table seemed larger, the bed colder, the nights longer. One day, there was a sudden knock at the door. What arrived was just a piece of paper, official, cold, and brief, missing. In that moment, Anna could neither cry nor speak. It was as if all her emotions had frozen. That was the day the war truly began for her. Maria was the town's beloved teacher. Before the war, she would read poetry to children, sing songs, and encourage them to dream about the future. But now her classroom was filled only with half-empty chairs and hopeless stares. One day, soldiers came to the school. They gathered the books and removed some of them. Maria's hands trembled, but she could not speak. She remained silent. Because now, even a single wrong word could put her life in danger. Over time, Maria began to lose not only her profession, but also her sense of identity. She learned not to speak. She learned to avoid eye contact. To survive, she chose to become invisible. But at night, she continued writing in the small notebook she kept hidden. Her forbidden thoughts, her fears, and her hopes. That notebook was proof that she was still human. Elena was a nurse in the city. The number of wounded arriving at the hospital increased every day, but the heaviest burden was the invisible pain. Women kept coming, without speaking, without crying, only staring. In their eyes, Elena saw the same story: loss, fear, and shame. Most did not even want to speak. Some were so psychologically shattered that they simply could not. One night, a young woman was brought in. Her condition and distant gaze revealed the hardship she had endured. Elena took her hand. She asked nothing. She simply sat beside her. In that moment, Elena understood something. Sometimes the greatest act of resistance is making someone feel that they are not alone, that someone is there for them. Sophia had spent years trying to protect her family, her home, her children, her memories. But war slowly begins to erode even the strongest parts of a person. One day, their home was destroyed in an attack. Everything was gone within seconds. As Sophia searched through the rubble for her children, her hands trembled. In that moment, time seemed to stand still. After that, nothing was ever the same. Sophia was no longer afraid, because she had nothing left to lose. The pain inside her hardened into a fierce determination. She would survive, not only for herself, but for all those who no longer had a voice. When the war ended, cities were left in ruins, but the real destruction was hidden within people. Anna, Maria, Elena, and Sophia. They had lived different lives, yet they shared the same pain. What they had lost bound them together with an invisible thread. Years later, when they finally met, none of them could clearly express what they had experienced, because some pain cannot be put into words. Instead, they sat together in silence, drinking tea. They wanted to talk, but they could not. And that silence was no longer one of fear, but of solidarity. The war had torn their lives apart, but it had also taught them what it truly means to survive, to endure, and to begin again. And perhaps most importantly, it taught them how difficult it is to remain human, and how necessary it is to try.